We want to explore new rivers to fly fish in remote places where nobody typically talks about. You see, in October, Alaska really slows down. All the tours have gone home and the days are getting shorter. What most people don't realize, the fall and winter time in Alaska are even more beautiful than the amazing summers. We've all caught a lot of fish and our freezers are full of salmon and halibut. We don't need to catch any more fish, but what we really want to do is explore remote places in Alaska. We are on a mission to explore Long Bay and Prince William Sound and find out if we can catch anything fly fishing in rivers that nobody talks about.
Down your road and past your gates, keep your eyes on the horizon. I was looking to belong when I'd already found my home.
I'm firing up these horses as Nate unleashes the boat. After plotting out a course, I put my brother-in-law Brian at the helm, which is awesome because it frees me up so I can do some filming of this epic scenery. But first, let's talk about Colorado's Passage in Long Bay. One of the reasons for my YouTube channel is for education and to teach about navigating and boating in the passages and bays in Prince William Sound. I want to give the information that I wish I had when I was first starting out boating in Prince William Sound. The hope is that this information will give you a look into the bay before you boat out to it and give you information about how to avoid problems, how to stay safe, and show some of the adventures you can have in each of these bays. To get to Long Bay, start in Whittier and head east through Passage Canal. You'll pass this navigation marker indicating decision points. At night, there's a white, slowly flashing light indicating the position of decision points. Passage Canal will open up into Port Wells. Port Wells is not actually a port, it's just the name of the body of water. After crossing Port Wells, we turn south into Colorado's Passage. There are 3 sets of narrows in Colorado's Passage. As we head from north to south, we will encounter 2 of the 3 sets of narrows before we turn west into Long Bay. As you head south through Colorado's Passage, you will encounter this group of islands spanning the width of the passage, which create the first set of narrows. The West Channel is the largest and deepest, and I recommend taking this route. I have taken the East Channel many times in the past, but I was on a much smaller boat, and you need to watch out for rocks. Stay mid-channel in the West Passage, and your depth should be greater than 40 feet. Once you pass the island, you will need to turn toward port to avoid a submerged rock. The rock label in this video is not at the precise location, but it's being used to warn you to look at your marine charts. Continue south through Colorado's Passage, and the second set of narrows is simpler and only requires that you stay mid-channel to ensure that you stay in deep enough water. After the second set of narrows, Colorado's Passage opens up and gives you 3 different options. You can continue east and head into Goose Bay. There's a public use cabin in Goose Bay, and I've made a video about backcountry skiing in Goose Bay. The second option is to continue south through Colorado's Passage and go through the third set of narrows, but today we're going to head west into Long Bay. Long Bay is about 2 miles long, and unless you head close to shore, there's no significant obstacles as you go through Long Bay. Long Bay is beautiful, and there's mountains on each side of the bay, and waterfalls are scattered throughout the bay. At the head of the bay, there's plenty of room for anchorage for multiple boats, but beware because at low tides the rocks are exposed along the shore, and the head of the bay near the entrance to the estuary becomes very shallow. The plan is to take the tender into the Long Bay estuary and fly fish the river coming from Shrode Lake. Between the estuary and the bay, there's a very shallow area that can be impossible to cross at low tides. It has a reversible flowing current depending if the tide is ebbing or flowing.
It's better unless it's like, right, if everybody just says, hey, it's perfect. Something needs to be greased, but...
Once we secure the anchor, we lower the dinghy into the water and then head on into the estuary. There's the navicular. She looks pretty with the fresh snow in the background.
Yeah, this is otherworldly right here.
To enter the estuary, there's a very shallow area that you have to cross that would be impossible to cross at very low tides because it's so shallow. This area has a reversible flowing current depending if the tide is ebbing or flowing. Today we arrive at the bay just after low tide. The tide has just started to rise. Our plan was to enter the estuary with the incoming tide and then leave the estuary later this evening on the outgoing tide, but we are going to leave before the channel becomes too shallow to cross.
We hear that camera though. That sun's going away. It's a lot better for this.
Oh, that is so cool. Look how cool that looks. Oh, man. Okay, shell on up here. then it leveled.
So here we're gonna have to thread some needles with some rocks here. So
Yeah, let's see if we can see them here.
I
Okay,
have to turn the camera
rock
on.
right here. You're good.
You see those rocks ahead of
Yeah.
us?
There's a rock. There's about, I don't know, it's a lot shallower for sure. Getting pretty shallow. There's a rock to the left.
What about ahead of us here? Which way?
Yeah.
The rock I'm going right at
Okay,
probably.
I would go just left of the rock you're,
Just left. or
yeah. And then slow up as much as you can.
Getting shallow.
right? Backwards.
Yeah, turn right here. Stay in that groove. I think you're good right
There's a
there.
rock right in front of us. I think we'll miss it.
Yeah. Big one. And I think
Now
I
hang
thread
right at the tongue of those two. Yeah.
Right in front of us, but I think we're okay. We're getting pretty
You
shallow.
might have to lift.
We're getting pretty shallow.
Can you lift up?
Lift up the prop.
Lift up. Lift up.
We got current.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're going in with current. This is shallow, shallow, shallow. I'd pull your thing.
No prop. Tide's still technically low, right? It looks like it. Carcasses. It's a good sign.
You do see carcasses? Good.
Well, we're definitely on the ground.
We tie up the dinghy and walk the rest of the way into the estuary because it gets too shallow with a minefield of rocks everywhere. At high tide, we'd be able to easily take the boat all the way into the head of the estuary and all the way to the mouth of the Shrode River.
Crystal clear gravel river.
Check out this tree. Like, that's so cool.
We were finally ready to start fishing, and Brian and Nate get their gear ready and hope for some action. We are obviously fishing after the salmon runs have finished returning for the year, but there are Dolly Varden and sea run cutthroats in these rivers, and there's also the possibility of catching some late run silver salmon.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Good what, dude?
That's amazing.
That's a money shot.
It looks fishy.
Yeah, it looks very fishy.
Yeah, it's I bet you the salmon pull up in there like crazy.
This is the prettiest place on earth. I would like to find more fish.
You can see a rock wall at the top of the waterfall. There's an opening in the wall that is used for a fish ladder. A fish ladder allows the fish to bypass the waterfall and more easily access the lake. This is the bottom of the fish ladder. You can see that it allows the fish to take a more gradual ascent up the river. There were no signs of fish at the mouth of the river, so we decided to take the trail up the river and see if there's better fishing near the lake or other places along the river.
I came in from the distance, dressed with clothes of skin and hide. It seemed an ancient knowledge, the books they kept inside.
That'll be interesting.
We fought 1,000 times, and I'd like to think I won, but they arguably were stalemates, defeats are one-on-one.
At Shrode Lake is a public use cabin, and these cabins are scattered throughout Alaska and are amazing. These cabins represent the best of what our government does, and I wish that there were more of these cabins available for us to use. I do believe that it is in all of our best interest to keep these cabins in perfect condition so that many of us can come and experience these amazing locations and develop a connection with the land that we live in. If the next generation does not develop a connection with the land, then they won't value it like we do, and then we will be in jeopardy of the land not being protected and cared for. I hope that many people can come and experience what we are experiencing today. We saw some bear tracks and eagles both headed in the same direction towards the river, and we thought, that's probably where the fish are.
Should have brought my sinking line. I've got it in the boat. It's my sinking fly line. It's okay. I mean, we probably wouldn't take time to actually rig it up and fish it, but I didn't expect to see a drop off like this. Just had a fish jump. Yeah.
Before we started fishing, I couldn't resist taking a few shots of this little bird on the edge of the river, looking for some bugs. Now, I grew up commercial fishing with my grandfather in the Cook Inlet and thought fishing for one fish at a time was completely pointless. But wow, has my view changed over time. There's just something completely beautiful about fly fishing.
They're almost just preserved. But I cast that fly, and the very first cast, one turned and hit it, and then I cast to a different one, and he, like right next to him, he turned and hit it. It's like they just want something to do.
Interesting.
But they're beautiful fish. Wow. It's kind of a pretty place. Beautiful fish. See you, dude.
That was pretty sweet, dude.
That was fun. Ooh, my hands are cold. All right, maybe it's Brian's turn. So I've been actually casting like to the side and getting my fly downriver. And then so when I'm ready to cast, I just do one kind of up and over. Now the way this fly works, you just want to twitch it. You just kind of give it a little twitches with your finger, and then they'll come and get it and you set on them. But let's go quietly pick them out. If like we spook them and miss, don't cast right away again, just wait. Yeah. We got to kind of settle them down or pick different fish. I'll come kind of walk you through. You can give me your rod. Right. And yeah, let's just go walk up there, see if we can get one.
Black Dolly Llama, huh?
Yeah, I had the pink one out and I was like, you know, let's try the subtle and like the more natural. And like the very first cast, like I didn't even see the fish that hit it. Like I was casting for these two others and like this one turned and grabbed it. I was like, okay, this is gonna be fine. I've taken about 5 casts and hooked 3 fish, so
That's a good ratio.
yeah. Okay, there's a bunch over there. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we want to get downriver of them so we can sneak up on them. Let's just stay here. We're gonna just sneak over here and then we're gonna just settle down for a minute before we do anything. So just stay on my right side here. That sun's really bright all of a sudden. I don't like that. Oh, did we get wrapped up, or did you snag him? Oh, he's hooked in the mouth. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, let him run a little. Yeah, let him run. Let him run. Good, good. Okay, go with him. Just point your rod up towards me. Yeah, no, these fish aren't terrible. I mean, they get preserved by the cold water. Lost my balance. Yeah, it's cold down there. Look at the teeth on these guys though. Like it's hard to get in there and get the hook out. Nice job, Brian.
Oh, thank you.
All right, let's have Owen do one. Okay, so this is actually a hard version of fly fishing because you got a heavy fly and a long leader, but this is what we have to have for it. So the idea is you got to have tension. If I get tension out of the line, it's just flopping around. So I got to get here to where I've got tension. And then I want to get back, and now we got tension and forward and back and tension. Now you're going to have to do a million, and so now all you're really going to have to do is get out there. When you get to the spot, I'm going to have you actually cast downriver, and then you're going to turn, and you're going to pull with this hand. You're going to come to here and stop. With this hand, you're going to kind of pull and then let it go, and you're just going to go boom and get it down, and then you're going to do this 2-finger stretch.
Well, it's the time of day that we gotta turn around and start heading back. It's starting to get dark early this time of year, and we have to drive the boat all the way back to Whittier, which means we'll be driving the boat back a lot in the dark.
Look at that. Our dinghy's still here. That's good. It's always good when you can return your dinghy's still there.
And the mud grabbing my feet.
But the amazing thing about living here is that we were able to work early this morning and still get out here into this very remote location, fish and explore most of the day, and we will still get back to Whittier in time for the 8 p.m. tunnel and probably get home in time for a late dinner with our family. Living in Alaska is just amazing.
My name, they're telling me to head your way, down your road and past your gates. Keep your eyes on the horizon. I was looking to belong when I'd already found